Vegas, year 2, success.
Success, mate.
Yep.
I think it is a success. I think we've got to stop looking at it as though it's a measure of its success is breaking into the US market. I think that's pipe dream stuff. If it's going to happen, it'll happen over a very long period of time. I think what we've got to look at this as like if you're doing the spreadsheet, the budget for the NRL, I feel like Vegas, throw that in the marketing budget because it's the amount of press, the amount of excitement around the first 2 games of the season, because it is in Vegas, it's up a next level. We've been talking about, it felt like we were talking about this for 3 weeks leading into the game.
Yeah.
And now we're still talking about Vegas, and then then the regular season will kick in as of Thursday night. But
how was the FOMO for you yesterday? Have you surpassed in your life where you're at any levels of FOMO, or does it still infiltrate Barney?
I don't really get a whole lot of FOMO with any, because I'm one of these people that really I don't want to do anything.
That's the best way to beat FOMO.
100%.
Not doing anything,
mate. I've got fear of being included. Is my problem. I've got phobia, or phobia, I should say. But it's once it's in the calendar, I don't want to do it. So the fact that at the time I'm like, you're beauty, but now I'm looking at the flights home. The boys are up.
So
I don't
that's
want
the
any
big
part
thing.
of it.
So yesterday, watching it from home, absolutely riddled with FOMO. But now, waking up in your own bed, feeling fresh,
happy,
get to come in and do this, even though tourists in a bad mood when I arrived.
His FOMO.
Yeah, that's what it could be.
Yeah.
The FOMO's it dissipated very, very quickly.
Yeah, exactly. With the reality of the logistics. Like, to give you an idea, I'm going to a mate's birthday on Saturday night, and I've already worked out which train I'm catching home. That's the kind of guy I am.
When you're planning the smoke bomb that far in advance, that's commitment.
Mate, I looked up the train timetable before I told him I'd come.
Is there any better feeling than cancelled plans of something you never wanted to go to anyway, but you were going to?
Even something I wanted to go to.
Jeez, we sound like dull blokes.
I love my job. I get to do stand-up comedy. But one of the greatest days of my life, I was on the way to a gig and I got a phone call, mate, there's a blackout. The gig's off.
What a fill-up.
He hadn't finished the sentence before I'd started the U-turn on the Hume Highway. It was the best.
Hey, Turi, have we got any data of the ratings? Because I think it went on the main Fox channel as opposed to last year where it was on Fox 1.
Yes. So far what we've got right now from Channel 9, the average 715,000 with a streaming audience of 81,000, a reach of 1.6 million. That's actually down 11% from 796,000. So from 796 down to 715. That's only 9, though. That's only 9. We don't have the data for Fox yet, or the US data. Apparently comes out tonight, the US data.
Did 9 carry both games?
9 did they only did the second game, and so they did the women's game and the second
game. And the Panthers Sharks game.
I tend to think maybe I'll be interested in seeing what the Fox data is, because if the audience is like made up, what we're missing from 9 have now gone over, they've got their KO subscription because they wanted to watch the whole day. Even if you're not going to do the KO for the whole year, you're happy with just watching the free-to-air coverage of the footy. It's worth getting your free trial and having a day on the couch. So I wouldn't be surprised if the 11% are watching on another service.
So in stadium numbers, 45,209 attended. The quadruple header, and that's a big call out there. So the extra game, or 4 games this year, almost 5,000 more than the previous year. Is that a big enough jump?
Yeah, like I said, I don't worry too much about like trying to draw in the local audience. I don't think that matters as much. Like, Vegas is a city where you're competing with a lot of things to get eyeballs. I think anyone that pops in and goes and sees it, that's going to be a slow build in the States. I kind of would have thought maybe we'd have a few more, given that there was a lot of there seemed to be a lot of people that travel from the UK. And also quite a large contingent of Kiwis. Yeah. So the proof will be in the pudding, say potentially next year, if we've got for Australian teams, and I think they will stick with the Super League. I was hearing talk about having the third game, maybe the World Club Challenge or something.
Hold the thought on maybe a little, restructure to the types of games or number of games. It's going to get some audio from Matty Russell and Vossy about that. But just quickly, so Michael Chambliss from the Sydney Morning Herald, he's dove into the dollars and cents of this weekend, Barney. So it's estimated the game lost close to $1 million in the first years. So last year it sent players to the US. But now, he reports just 2 years into a 5-year plan, the NRL was trumpeting a small profit. This is a quote from Peter V'landys, and remember this one. It's not all about money, says PVL, which is interesting. It's costing us nothing. We broke even this year, if not for a small profit. And what about this number? There's also reports that, the NRL going there with the Super League and the Gillaroos and the English women's team, injected almost $80 million into the city of Las Vegas.
Wow.
Now, hats off to everyone that went over there.
Did their bit.
They did their bit.
Lost their bit at the tables.
Exactly. So what I said before, just holding the thought around potentially what can look like going forward. This was the audio from Matty Russell and Vossy on the potential changes to Las Vegas for year 3.
1 Super League contest, tick. 2
Lock.
NRL games, lock. A game
Tick.
which is either
So that's your minimum 3.
Yeah, minimum 3.
Minimum 3.
Then either a World Club Challenge or a Women's Origin game that is a meaningful game, one of the Women's Origin series, and then on the Friday night beforehand, in a car park dressed up accordingly, wheelchair rugby league, which could give the sport real cut through into the US. Have I heard you properly this time?
100%. Yeah. So it's a minimum 3 games, and that is 2 NRL, 1 Super League game.
There we go. Vossy always thinking outside the box.
Yeah, I don't mind that. The World Club Challenge, I suppose you'd basically then have your whoever won the premiership would that be their bye? They'd have the bye round 1 so they could play in the World Club Challenge. That's the only thing.
There's some admin to overcome, isn't there?
That's the only thing. Yeah, because if you're backing up from say your 5th, yes, I see you Panther Jez. If you're backing up from say your 5th premiership in a row, or even if you're just backing up from 1 in a row, then you play the World Club Challenge as your bye. So you're losing a bye. Is that something you're going to want? I know you don't really want to have your bye round 1 in general anyway, but someone's got to.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I just thinking out loud. Otherwise, you've got them then potentially having to turn around and play a real short turnaround. The other thing that people have been floating about after the 5-year period is whether they say maybe move it to Wembley or to another venue.
Yeah, I don't think so.
No, I think Vegas is a very tight fit for rugby league. It feels like
$80 million.
Well, it feels like
injected. US.
And it feels like PVL's just thrown a footy trip on for everyone to go to. Anyone that wants to come, let's go have a footy trip to start. And I just think once you start going further than Vegas, though, then the logistics once again become an absolute nightmare.
Yeah. Box, we're chatting success of Las Vegas year 2. We were chatting some ratings that Channel 9 had released, some dollar figures that Michael Chambliss was reporting. This is the statement from Fox. With Fox League on KO Sports and Foxtel, the only place to watch all 4 games of the Rugby League extravaganza, coupled with Fox League's comprehensive top-tier coverage, Sunday the 2nd of March was the most streamed day ever for the channel, with 144 million minutes streamed.
144 million minutes. Okay, so
is that a lot?
That
sounds like a lot.
It seems like quite a few minutes. Now we got extra. You got extra help in the booth there too.
What I want you to do, thousands in that behind the glass. There. What are you all doing?
2 of them sit in there, and suddenly I've got all the help in the world.
There. Now, Social Sam, I'll get you on the calculator, mate. I want you to work out how many minutes of broadcast they were streaming for, and I want to work out, let's divide that by 144 divided by that to work out how many, absolute baseline, how many unique minutes were streamed.
Don't ask Sammy. I can do it myself. Don't worry, boys.
2.4 million
hours.
2.4 million hours. Yeah, no. But how long was the coverage? Because
that's not to Sam. We're back to Sammy for that.
Back to Sam.
8:30 till, I reckon it was 10 hours, give or take.
10 hours.
Maybe more.
So
they've all given up. The hands are in the air. That's
let's
too hard.
Let's work out how many times this was streamed. That'd be great.
Corey Parker, he had some thoughts on Vegas.
Oh, Cos is unlikely to
2025,
share his thoughts, isn't he?
I know, and this was on Breakfast on SENQ. This is what he had to say.
I'm a little underwhelmed, boys, to be fair. I mean, we had the game between Wigan and Warrington, which started things off. And look, at one point it was 42 points to zip. And then we went into the Raiders in the Warriors, and then 90 points to 4. Like, really? 90 points to 4 in the women's game? I'm all for women's game, don't get me wrong. But can we do that a little bit better? And then finish with the main course between the two big hitters, which I thought was a terrific game. So, in a quick summation, I'm not sure.
A little underwhelmed and not sure.
Where was he when he made that statement, Corey?
Sound like a bit of FOMO in there.
Yeah, was he in Brisbane? Yeah, it is underwhelming in Brisbane,
like a bit
Vegas
of FOMO.
when you could be in Las Vegas, doesn't it?
437 Texas in as well.
Yes.
Ratings down. Last year had the Broncos. This year no Queensland team. So that's going to have an impact as well.
Could have been partly why Corey was underwhelmed.
Underwhelmed from Corey. Adrian Proshenko from the Sydney Morning Herald reports that the ARLC Commission Chairman Peter V'landys concedes that 4 games of football in Vegas was one too many, with the women's game likely to be the casualty for Vegas 3.0. He was quoted as saying 4 games is probably too much. We'll probably go back to 3 games in 2026. I think 4 was too long. You could tell because the fans left their seats. So when their game was over, there were a lot of empty seats in the stand. So there we go. PVL, he hasn't wasted any time.
Yeah.
In potentially changing things up in season 2026 when we go there.
Yeah, I don't look, to be honest, I don't mind the idea. I'm sort of a bit ambivalent between 3 and 4 games because, well, partly because I'm not going. So for me, a full day of rugby league on the lounge, wherever you're watching, is great. So it doesn't bother me whether there's 45,000 people in that they're playing in front of or 25,000. You know, it doesn't really make that much difference to the TV side of it. So 3 or 4, I think you've got to, that's neither here nor there to me.
Yeah. TC is texting. Coal miner, it's TC. I'm going to have to just check that phone number to make sure it's the actual TC.
Yep.
144 million minutes. If everyone watched 80 minutes, one game, that's 1.8 million viewers.
See, that's
quick
not bad.
maths, and he's very, very good with numbers.
He's
very good with numbers. So you boys behind the glass, you could really learn something there from TC.
So
on the text line there.
So that's 1.8 million viewers. See, so those if this is the thing that Fox are doing now, counting minutes streamed as opposed to
is this the
viewers
benchmark
watched. Now? If that's going to be the benchmark, then I'm going to tell you, PVL, they're going to want 4 games because they want a full day to stream. They don't want any shortage of minutes.
That's true. I don't know if I'm fully sold on whether it's A grade or non-A grade or what grade this is, so I might leave it to the listener.
Yes.
To decide. But this is what it is. NFL star thrown out of stadium after blowing Raiders' horn. This is from the great Michael Chapman again, Sydney Morning Herald. The man who launched the NRL season by blowing the Viking horn, Las Vegas Raiders defensive lineman Tyler Manoa, was removed from Allegiant Stadium after an incident in a venue's bathroom on Saturday night.
Oh, it's good
now,
areas.
Find me a more rugby league.
That's what I'm saying.
Isn't
Isn't it good? He's literally gone along to one game, blown the horn, and already just he gets the culture clearly.
Yeah,
he's up to bathroom shenanigans.
He definitely gets it. I wonder if Ricky can somehow turn this into a backs against the wall sort of siege mentality.
Oh, if anyone can,
2.
Ricky can.
Yeah. Okay, so NRL sources confirmed that Manoa was removed from the stadium following alleged misbehaviour in the corporate area. The 25-year-old American who joined the NFL's Raiders practice squad last season after a college career at UCLA in Utah allegedly damaged property inside the restrooms and had to be evicted from the premises. Manoa was meant to visit the Canberra Raiders sheds after their big win over the Warriors, but was a no-show. Not surprised there.
This is he's damaged property inside the bathroom. So what I'm picturing is, and this can happen to the best of us, right?
Okay,
this guy,
paint us a picture.
He's a large man, right? So he's gone in there, he's taking care of business. Obviously, hygiene's a big thing when you're in a corporate area. He'd be shaking a lot of hands. He's probably gone to wash his hands.
True.
Either out of paper towels or he's just gone too hard on the paper towel pull. A man of that size, boom, sometimes. it'll come off the wall. Has that ever happened to you? I was in a bathroom once where
No,
they had
I've never ripped it off.
they had
before.
they had the old school they had the old school one with the like where it was the actual cloth towel that rotate
and then it just
down,
goes back up.
and it goes back up and gets cleaned or whatever.
The
I don't know how it
filthiest things
works.
in the world.
Yeah,
Yeah, the
they
filthiest
are,
things in the
right.
world. I was in a pub once and I used the urinal, washed my hands, went down, pulled on that to get to the clean section of it. Whole thing just came off the wall. I just sort of wiped my hands on that, sat it on the floor in the corner, and went,
Someone else's problem.
Someone else's problem. Yeah, well, it wasn't my. But if that would have got me thrown out of Allegiant Stadium, you know what? I would have found somewhere else in Vegas for me and Tyler to go have a beer.
I'm sure he had no issues finding somewhere else to go.
You're still here? We'll see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio. Because if you don't, you're an A grade. But if you do, you're the absolute Mickey.